the thrilling rides are safe. And I don't think it is necessarily intentions of negligence sometimes to handle the high volume. And often we cite a case, and I say this with total respect to anybody who's been injured or lost anyone on the rides. I think it's important to regulate, but I also think it's important to bear in mind that amusement parks, theme parks are immensely popular, that mostly they haven't operated with too many incidents of foul play and negligence, and just keep a perspective that if the public's going to clamor for them, if they're supposed to be risky, if they're quasi-dangerous, if they're high and thrilling, if they whirl you around or take you to great heights, that there is a little bit of an assumption of risk, and I think it's reasonable to just outline that it isn't always therefore the fault of industry, always. So I appreciate these efforts. But I do want to say, I think there's been a perception as if we aren't sympathetic and willing to work hand in hand. There's no desire to weaken legislation. It's just to have it be fair and balanced, which I think are reasonable standards to apply to any and all measures before us. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other witnesses in opposition here? Are there any other questions from members of the committee? If not, Mr. Torlakson, if you would like to close and the committee can make comments, we'll take a motion and take a vote.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. With a brief close, I want to again thank all the witnesses, all the participants in the process, because their combined expertise has strengthened the proposal that's in front of you. I want to thank members of the legislature who have been very cooperative, very supportive, and have given me positive feedback along the way. I've encountered nothing but that in this entire process, and so I want to underscore that where we are is a good place, and I want to work with you, Mr. Chairman, and want to address the members concerns that members have raised, some of the industry concerns, some of the concerns from the consumer advocates. We can tighten up some of the definitions. We can make this even better as it goes forward. I would simply today ask your support in moving this legislation forward, bringing California in line with other states, and I am convinced it can reduce accidents and tragedies. I urge your aye vote.
Thank you. Dr. Romero?
I move the bill.
Bill's been moved. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Knox. Final comment. Again, thank you. I think it's been said by a lot of folks, this is a good industry, but there's nothing to fear from sunshine, and that's really what you're trying to place on the situation here, to assure that people understand and that there is a fair record of rates of injuries, serious injuries at theme parks. And so encourage you to keep working and pledge myself to help out in any way that I can here. All right, let's we have a motion, a second. Let's call the roll, please.
Steinberg?
Excuse me, just for the record, indicate without objection taking these amendments as author's amendments.
Thank you.
They're part of the motion here.
Great.
All right, Steinberg, aye.
Steinberg. Gallegos? Knox? Margette? McClintock? Migden?
Aye.
Aller? Romero?
Aye.
Shelley? It's on call.
It's on call, needs one more vote.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, members.
Torlakson, thank you to all the witnesses.
Tommy, you lost the lewd and lascivious bill. If you want to reconsider, you can bring it up. Talk about it. I say leave it. Okay. Tonight, is Mr. Fireball here? I can present Mr. Vincent.
Okay, if I could ask everyone to please file out quietly. The committee still has significant business to conduct today. Hey, Kevin. We just voted.
Just went out. Yeah, why don't you sit over here? Mr.
Okay. Yeah, open it up for Mr. Shelley on the last bill here, since we haven't started the next bill.
Shelley? Bill
All right,
passes.
The bill is out for all of you who are filing out. Mr. Firebaugh will get you just a second here, okay?
Thank you, Mr. Firebaugh.
This will be quick. Ms. Giddens.
This will be quick. Mr. Vincent asked me to present, and as you know, he was here, Mr. Chair, and his wife's ill, and I told him we'd take over for him. Mr. Chair and members, in 1998, the federal government updated its job training and employment preparation programs by enacting the Workforce Investment Act, and California is required to implement this act and report to the Federal Department on Labor on how we intend to spend over $6 billion in job training and educational skills, and that would be up to the year April of 2000. This bill, which is 702 by Mr. Vinson, enacts the Workforce Investment and Economic Development Act of 1999, as required by the Federal Workforce Investments Act of 98, and it establishes as an advisory body the Governor's Council on Workforce Investment and Economic Development in compliance with the Federal Act, and it moves the funding for the board into the Governor's office. It requires the Governor to establish criteria for membership on local boards, which relate to these Workforce Investment Act, and moreover establishes a youth council as a subgroup of each local group for compliance. Need to turn those phones off. Authorizes the Governor to appoint. Want me to help you? Not.
It's
Then turn it off.
I'm
Go
trying.
outside. Then go outside.
Got it. Sorry.
They are outlawed in committees. Cell phones,
Right.
leave them outside.
No cell phone.
Or I'll drop the
Any-
bill. Authorizes the Governor to appoint one state agency as a lead agency, and as drafted, this bill, the author indicates will continue to work to refine if that's required, and we respectfully, on behalf of Mr. Vinson, ask for an aye vote.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Let's take the support witnesses real briefly here.
Peter Schilla, and I'm a taxpayer and a constituent of yours. I'm working on this bill as a volunteer, and I would like to urge you to move it forward. We would definitely plan to bring the bill back here if there are substantive changes as the process moves along.
Similar to Ms. Ducheney's bill, thank you, Mr. Schillich. Similar to Ms. Ducheney's bill, there are a number of vehicles moving through the legislature on this Workforce Investment Act, and we're going to move this bill out, but with the understanding that it comes back if it's substantively changed through the process, either here or on the Senate.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Moved. I'll second. Chair will second the bill. Any other testimony from the witnesses?
Candy Pulliam with La Cooperativa Campesina de California, a statewide association of farm worker organizations involved in job training, and we urge your support.
Appreciate it.
My name is Chris Page. I'm the Operations Director for California Human Development Corporation, the farm worker service provider, and I'm also working on the bill and in support.
Thank you. This is very, very important. It's a great opportunity for California to shape our workforce training for the next decade and beyond. Any opposition? No opposition. You want to close, Ms. Migden? You ask for an aye vote?
Just respectfully ask for an aye vote and to state that it is the intention of the author to work with the chair and the committee if there are further modifications made to the bill.
Thank you. Please call the roll.
Steinberg.
Aye.
Gallegos. Knox.
Aye.
Margette. McClintock. Migden.
Aye.
Aller. Romero. Shelley. On call.
The bill is on call. Let's move to
Thank you.
file item number 2, Mr. Firebaugh.